Hey guys, what's up? It's currently 9:58 p.m. I don't know if you can see that. Here just working, realizing that this is quite a lot to be balancing on top of school right now. It's week 3. There's going to be a lot more assignments and stuff coming up in the coming weeks here, but yeah, I just want to give some quick thoughts on a couple ideas, I think the first thing is that sometimes we're catching ourselves being in this zone where we're not all the way committed to something, but we're not all the way out of it. And oftentimes we think that, like, oh, that's not too bad because at least we're doing part of it. But I would beg to differ. I would say that's actually the worst place you can be. It's called no man's land. It's where you're not committed fully in and you don't have your heart into whatever you're working on. And so you're really wasting a lot of time because you're not putting your full effort into it. And because of that, you're almost sabotaging yourself from the very start. You're setting yourself up to fail before you even have a good chance at succeeding because you're holding yourself back. So I think this is actually a bigger problem than a lot of people realize. And it's why so many people aren't able to really achieve their dreams because they're just kind of doing a little bit, but not going all the way. And I think it's a scary thing to go all the way because it means you're committing fully to something. But only when you commit fully to something are you going to see the results that you want to see. You can't really just put in like 10% effort and expect a 10,000% result, right? You have to put in all your effort into it and then wait and wait and wait and keep putting in effort for you to get that result you actually desire. I also want to talk about a little personal anecdote of how I fixed doom scrolling. So a lot of people talk about these different apps and things, and I've tried different apps and it does help somewhat. And also you could just delete like the thing you're doom scrolling on. But I think the biggest thing that actually helped me was changing what was in my feed. I think once I started changing it to people who are out there actually taking action with their lives, doing things, becoming successful, always growing, then as I scroll and as I see them grow and get better, it makes me a little envious and it makes me want to be like, hey, when are we going to grow? When are we going to get better? And that has actually been a big natural motivation to just stop scrolling because I keep seeing all of their wins and I'm like, where are my wins, right? When am I going to reach that level of success? And then I remember, oh, wait, I need to get to work because my work and the things that I do outside of my phone, those are the things that are actually going to lead to that kind of success. I think that's a really unusual approach to fixing doom scrolling, but it's definitely one that's worked a lot for me because as I'm creating content, I have pretty much all the distractive apps you can have on your phone, and I've been able to really limit doom scrolling to a bare minimum. And I think that's really just a testament to this kind of strategy and also always being focused on your dream all the time as much as possible. So that way you're always working towards that and keeping yourself busy. Because once you feel like you have free time, often what happens is that free time just goes down the drain and it's gone to doom scrolling or something kind of useless and you don't really get to enjoy it. So that's where you got to be careful with, make sure you take like good rest and stuff and really control that extra time that you have and either use it for working a little bit more or take a real break, not just like sitting on your phone, but actually going outside, doing activities, spending time with friends. Take like a real break to actually reward yourself. I also want to talk about why a lot of successful people have egos, and I'm not condoning it at all. I think it's actually a terrible thing, and I think there's no reason to really have an ego, but it makes a lot of sense because of the nature of how you become successful. The reality is you have to be the first person to believe in yourself, and you have to have such a strong belief that it's going to carry you through all the failures that are necessary to get to success. And if you don't have a really strong belief, you're just not going to become successful. So we have this kind of survivorship bias of successful people who had a really strong belief that was able to continue to push them to keep putting in work, even when they were failing, even when everybody else was telling them they're a failure, even when everybody else was kind of saying, what are you doing? You're wasting your time, all of this stuff. That little fire inside of them never went out. And because of that, that's something that they cling to very strongly. And that ego is their belief that they're made for something better. Now, obviously, that can turn into a very bad way of like them thinking they're better than everybody else, but it makes sense where it came from because if you don't think that you're more special or that you can put in more work to achieve something greater, then how else are you supposed to achieve success if you can't even believe it in the first place, right? If you don't even believe that you can do something, how do you expect to actually do it? You just made your life 10 times harder. That belief is so important because it's the thing that's going to be with you day in and day out as you try to keep working and putting in those hours to actually achieve this really hard thing called success. I think that's it for today. I have a lot more stuff to do and realize that the work is never ending, but sometimes you can find peace in the monotony of the work and just keep putting it in, knowing that as long as you keep going, one day you'll see results. May not be today, may not be a month from today, may not be a year from today, but one day. See you guys later.